95, 96.1, The Rock. On the phone with us, one of the stars of The Walking Dead. It's Tom Payne, who plays Jesus in the show. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing very well. How are you guys?
We're wonderful. Thanks for taking some time out of your day, man. We appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, so we're approaching the mid-season finale here of The Walking Dead. Kind of walk us through what's coming up in the next episodes. What can we expect?
Well, the saviors that Jesus decided to take back to the hilltop are still there, and still possibly about to cause trouble. That was a whole situation which the character got us into, and I have to say, when I was as the actor walking everyone down the road back to the hilltop, I was a bit scared of quite how many guys Jesus had decided to take back right into the middle of his home. So that's a powder keg which could go off. And I guess there are different allegiances splitting off and doing their own thing now. So I hope the plan sticks together, but you never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm slightly obsessed with The Walking Dead. I'm a pretty big fan. I appreciate that the comic and the television show share the similarities, but they also have a lot of big differences. Do you feel there's a responsibility to do the comic justice while at the same time keeping the show kind of unpredictable and giving it its own flavor?
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of the comic book, such as my character who looks a certain way and has certain skills and everything, and I think the fans were excited to see Jesus come along, and the same with Negan. But I do love how the show messes around with stuff and maybe kills a different person or does something in a slightly different way, because it's great for the comic book fans to see certain things play out, as they did with Glenn and stuff, but at the same time for them to still be surprised by what happens on the show. And I think they do a good job of mixing that up. I know that Robert Kirkman said, I saw him on Talking Dead or something the other day, where he was talking about how there are actually moments where the show maybe corrects something that he did in the comic book, which he's maybe thought about again after, and which he can't go back and fix. But then with the TV show, he can go, well, maybe we can play it like this. So it's an interesting way for him to tinker with what he's done as well.
Yeah, I had the experience of getting my heart broken twice, not only in the comics with Glenn, but then in the TV show with Glenn. I wasn't expecting it. While expecting it at the same time, it was amazing.
That's pretty awesome. Well, the main conflict we've seen in the show lately is that Negan and the Saviors, of course, and many people have seemed to have the love-hate relationship with Negan. You know, you find yourself rooting for him, but he's a bad guy, and then you're kind of waiting for his demise. Tell us about your feelings on that, and why is it important to have that type of a dynamic in the edge of your seat type show that The Walking Dead is?
I think it's kind of amazing that an actor can come into the biggest show on television and kill two of the most popular characters and still be as popular as he is. I mean, that's testament to how Jeffrey plays it and his qualities as an actor and as a person. It's pretty amazing. Like, he's not just a bad guy, he's also got so much charisma that people are drawn to him. I don't know. I think it's tough now. Like, obviously lots of people are like, oh, I just want Negan to die. And so many other people are, yeah, I'd like him to die, but actually we'd miss him a bit, I think, because he's such a powerful presence on the show. So I think that's a really interesting dynamic to have. And maybe we'll dispatch him and maybe we'll keep him on. I mean, in the comic books, he hangs around. But I know that a lot of people that watch the show aren't reading the comic books and don't necessarily care. So they'll be like, well, that's ridiculous, and we want this to happen on the show. So I think it will be interesting to see how they wrap up Negan's storyline, and if they do.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, we seem to live in a world of spoilers, especially with TV shows with social media, and especially here with The Walking Dead. I mean, it's probably one of the most spoiled TV shows on the planet. So what's that like for you as an actor, and does it bug you when you know that so many people are spoiling your hard work before so many fans get to see it?
Yeah, I mean, that side of it is pretty frustrating, to be honest, because we would really like to keep as many secrets as we can, because we want people to watch the show and be surprised, obviously, because that's part of the joy of the whole thing. But I think if people don't want to be spoiled, then they won't be. Like, if you want to be spoiled, then there are websites that you can go on and places you can probably find out bits and pieces. But I feel like a lot of people still enjoy the fact of being surprised by the show. And so, well, unless you don't watch it on the night that it's on, which, of course, once it's been aired, the chances of being spoiled are much higher. But if you're able to watch it when it airs, then I still think you can stay away from the spoilers and be surprised.
So what would you say is an appropriate time to drop spoilers, would you say? Because sometimes, as a comic book fan, I see some foreshadowing, and I just want to tell the world what I think is going to happen, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody either.
Well, that's on you.
I
think. I think they managed to surprise people. They managed to surprise people with Glenn's death and Abraham's death as well. That was a new thing that wasn't in the comic books. Glenn's death is so iconic in the comic books that I think that they had to go with it on the show as well.
Yeah.
And it's the trigger for the whole war and everything. But they do like to mix things up and change things around.
Absolutely.
So hopefully there are still surprises even if you read the comic books.
Oh, there definitely are some surprises. I'm caught up with the comic book and I'm caught up with the show, and I really don't know what's going to happen, and I like it that way. That's the way I like it. You brought it up a little bit. You talked about The Talking Dead. So the show kind of brought this new way of viewing the show after viewing the show. Talking Dead, of course, with Chris Hardwick. What is like the impact of The Talking Dead and on the show's success? Like, can you kind of touch on that?
I think it's amazing that a talk show about a TV show gets more viewers than any late night talk show. I think it's just astonishing at the beginning. I think that's testament to Chris. I think he does an amazing job on that show. Having been on it a few times and seeing how he does his thing is really brilliant. I think it's also just a really nice way for the fans to connect with the people on the show. You don't get that opportunity very often to then see the actors straight away and hear what they think and to talk over what happened. I mean, ultimately, that's what people do in real life. You know, you watch your TV show and then you can't wait to talk to your work colleagues and your friends about what you saw the night before. So it's a really, and especially when these huge deaths happen and stuff, it's nice to have that pressure release afterwards. And just, first of all, see that the person isn't actually dead and that they'll still be around, and to have that power afterwards, I think is a really, really valuable thing. And it's amazing. I mean, it's been, that format is now, they're doing it for the new Star Trek series, and AMC does it for Preacher and Fear the Walking Dead. And I mean, it's created a whole new thing, I guess. I mean, it happens, like I said, it happens at work, but it also happens on the internet, and I guess they just took that and put it on the air.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a really cool thing. Well, Tom, we know you're busy. We really appreciate your time. Walking Dead airs this Sunday, 8 o'clock Central Time. Very excited to have you on the show. Thanks a lot for your time, man.
Thank you very much.